The Sega CDX is hands down the best version of the Sega Genesis because it can also play Sega CD games. And I mean, look at this thing. It's so small, but mine has a big problem. I can't open it. If you look here, the button is gone, but luckily I have a replacement for it. So we're gonna get this thing all fixed, and I'm gonna show you guys the process of tearing down a CDX so that you can get in and replace the open button to be able to actually use your CDX. So let's dive in. Hey, what's up everyone? Game Dad here, and as I said, we are going to crack open my Sega CDX so that we can fix the open button and get this thing actually up and running and working so that I can, use it. I picked up this CDX actually from Pink Gorilla on one of Cody's live streams, I don't know, 2 years ago, maybe 3 years. And I just didn't do anything with it because I couldn't get the open button to work. I got it obviously at a very discounted price because of the open button issue, but I tried looking everywhere. I tried looking online for 3D print files, anything I could to be able to make that button. I mean, I can stick like a tool down in there and open it up, that's not a problem, but I wanted an actual button. And the last PRGE that I was at, which was 3 years ago now, I believe, I ended up finding somebody there who had one of these CDXs because they had made like a handheld version of it. So I just asked them, hey, do you happen to have the 3D print files so that I could do this? Or do you have an extra button lying around? That way I could take some measurements of it to 3D print my own. And he did me one better, and he said, what's your mailing address? And he sent me an entire button kit for it. So this is an actual genuine CDX open button with the full springs, screws, everything. And I don't remember the dude's name at all, but thank you so much because that was really awesome of you. But yeah, it's time to crack this open, replace the button, and make it so I can actually use the CDX, which in my opinion is the coolest Genesis there is. So let's dive in. So what's going to happen here over the next few minutes is I'm going through removing all the screws. As you can see, this is from the sides and the bottom of the CDX. And there are a few different screws in different sizes, so make sure you keep track of what goes where. And then the first thing you notice is this weird copper shield right here. And it is actually soldered down, so it makes me think it's some sort of ground plane or something like that. There were a couple of wires you have to desolder up at the front. And then here, now what I'm doing is going through getting the screws out of the cartridge port because this whole system is just a series of daughter boards. And there are screws and tabs and things all over the place holding every bit of this together. It's quite crazy actually. And here are two wires being undone. I believe these went to the controller ports, but you go ahead and remove these, and that makes it so that you can get to the part of lifting the board itself out. And I will say this was quite difficult because there is actually a connector right there, and it's kind of hard. You just got to get in there and pry it out. It feels like you're going to break it, but you won't, as long as you're careful. And then there is what I assume is an RF shield right here. Once you take this off, then you can get to the screws underneath for the actual kind of main motherboard that's down here. And once you take that out, then you will be able to get access to the actual button area. And with this, just like other parts, it's all very tightly packed in there. So what you have to do is kind of take note of the headphone jack and sort of pry out against that. And that will give you access to get that board out so you can reach the underside of the shell right here. Now, this is the part with the actual power button where you take out its assembly, you can put your new button in. I noticed there was some broken bits in here that I needed to clean out to get the button to fit nicely. So went ahead and did that. But then after all of this, the last thing to do is put everything back in reverse order. So I'm just going to let you enjoy the time lapse of the remaining part of that, and hope you like tearing down a Sega CDX. Well, there you have it, everyone. That is how you disassemble a Sega CDX and replace the little open button. Fun fact, I didn't realize until the end of this that little open button, I didn't have to open this at all. I could just slid the button right through the top right there, and then it would have worked. I didn't have to disassemble it. And let me tell you something about this. This is my first time taking one of these apart, and that sucked. I have never seen a console where you have to go through and desolder whatever that RF shield ground plate thing was. I've never seen that in a console before. And I've never had to desolder wires in order to just get to something in a console like that. That was pretty intense. And when you compare it to a regular Sega Genesis, this thing is on a whole other level. I can see why this thing was so damned expensive when it came out. It was quite a little feat of engineering back then. But yeah, at least now I can push the button and it opens. Now I can actually use it. So that's nice. I don't have to stick a screwdriver in it to make it work anymore. Now, if you like this video and you want to see another recent one, then go ahead and check out this area right here. And as always, I'm Game Dad. I thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you later.